comic strip cartoonists were, even to this day, are a different breed than the comic book artists. Totally different. They may use balloons and box panels and so forth, but they're reflective of social.
And the comic book artists, as I remember them, were all you. Will was turning out all this stuff, and he affected the style of the people, the tools that the artists, us artists, would use to paint the cartoons. Will was one for the Japanese brush that came to a point and he held vertically. Yeah. But you affected that era as much or more than any single man.
Well, since we're flinging compliments around here, let me throw back one at him, and that is, you were talking to him a moment ago about trying to tie responsibility of trends onto two people. The major change in comic books, in my opinion, occurred at two times. One is when Harvey started Mad, because for the first time, the main thrust of the comic book, and I'm talking about the medium itself, the package itself, moved from the fantasy supply, the ersatz adventure and so forth, on to a more realistic or a life-connected material. Once Harvey started doing satirical material, it moved into that direction. So the whole field moved into that, or we single-handedly moved it into that direction. The second major change occurred in San Francisco in the 60s with the underground people, I believe.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Although the comics, the history of comics goes like this, and underground comics goes like this. I don't know where it goes.
Well, it's an offshoot. If you're going to draw a picture, the whole industry is pretty much, the whole field, like unlike most literary fields, it's a tree with many branches. I credit the so-called underground with the literary direction that I'm really very interested in. I feel that is the great hope of comics. We were talking before you came about Jackson's comment, which I found very, very insightful and quite brilliant observation, that the change in superheroes today, because they're beginning to invest superheroes with neurotic dimensions, are probably going to kill themselves. He said that pretty much going to kill themselves because they're no longer providing the so-called teenage fantasy that they started out to do. And he, I think, made a very interesting point, except that I think that the field still will exist largely because the needs will be there. And the reason that they are selling is because the need has changed. Otherwise, as you point out, they wouldn't sell.
It seems to me that you're leaving out one of the major stages of the change in comic books, and that was, I mean, not that this is an original observation of mine, but the first comic books were reprints of newspaper material, and you as much as anybody else, jumped into the gap to do original material for them. And that's, of course, the first big change in major comic books.
Well, that's true, but like I said the other day in one of the other panels, nobody in my studio at the time, I don't know if anyone came to you and said, "Hey, Harv, you realize that we're in the golden age?" We didn't know it was a goal. We were responding to needs, just as I believe Harvey, in creating Mad, responded to a need at the moment. I don't know.
Need of my stomach.
Well, all right. But I think you're better equipped to tell her. I was always under the impression that you created MAD, or MAD was created because there was a need to take another direction because the EC was under great pressure, or censorship pressure, I guess it was. Bill Gates was faced with it, and so that suddenly there was an opening, an opportunity for you to do anything you wanted. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, it's that feeling of doing anything you wanted that propelled me into that new wave.